Dear Denver Podcast.
Yo, what up, man? It's Carlos back again with another episode of the Dear Denver Podcast. I'm just putting in this introduction to the video just to thanks and appreciation to TK Kirkland fucking with us here at Dear Denver Podcast. He didn't have to give me this interview. He didn't have to do none of this, man. I just asked him for an interview the day after his show at the Denver Improv, which he killed, and he just granted me the interview, and we knocked it out a day after his show. I'm just repeating myself again. You know, like, this podcast, again, is literally just for me to sit down with people like TK and other people that I'm a fan of, just have, like, conversation or, like, me tell them on how appreciative I am of the game that they spit through their platform or whatever they do, you know. And TK is one of those guys that I found out about through podcasts. You know, we talk about it on the interview. The first time I heard of TK Kirkland was through Taxstone's podcast. You know, I didn't know he was a comedian from way back then, like NWA era. You know what I mean? He opened for them. And the game he was spinning on Taxstone stuck with me so much. It was just like, it made me appreciate him like as a teacher or something, you know. So for me to be able to like sit down with like who I consider a teacher in this shit is just fucking crazy. You know, he spits so much game. We talk about on the podcast that like the shit he spits is like the old West Coast gangster rap shit, but like player shit, you know what I mean? And like that's what he puts in his comedy routine and his interviews, but he also gives people advice. You know, he's not just clowning y'all and schooling you. He tells you what to do. You know what I mean? Like, have life insurance. Make sure your money's straight before you get into relationships. Don't go broke over a bitch. Don't do this. Don't do that. You know what I mean? So he lays out like a TK Kirkland rule book. And that's why I'm such a big fan of this guy. And it was so fucking awesome to like sit down and actually have an interview with him. And I just want to say thank you so much, TK. I appreciate it so much. And this interview is just me kind of like going back and telling him the game that I got from him throughout the years of me listening to him. And we talk a lot about Taxstone's podcast because that interview with him and on Taxstone's podcast was so full of game. And so much of that shit stuck through my head throughout life and everything. You know what I mean? So shout out TK. I'm going to split this interview into two parts because after our interview, I cut off my recording device, but my camera kept rolling. And while my camera kept rolling, me and TK actually had a conversation like after the interview, and I was kind of telling him about, I was like, we talked about things in the interview, and then he was looking at my setup, and I clicked an idea in his head for his podcast, and I just captured it all, dude. It was all authentic. It just happened out of nowhere. It was crazy, man. You guys just got to check it out. It'll be like a behind the scenes Dear Denver Podcast, TK Kirkland. Just keep your eye on it. Keep your eye out for it, and just check it out, man. Thank you so much, TK Kirkland, fucking with us. T to the motherfucking K, Dear Denver Podcast. Let's get it.
At my comedy show, oh baby, no. See, your game too slow. Your technique enhance you keeping on the weekend. Trying to catch me sleeping, right? Well, I always tell you, never. My game's too tight. Plus, I'm too clever. See, I'm butter soft like this leather you wearing. The Donna Karen.
All right, yo, what up, man? It's Carlos back again with another episode of the Dear Denver Podcast. Today I'm joined by one of my favorite comedians. Just found out about this guy like not even 4 years ago when I started getting into podcast. He opened for NWA. He was on the Hard Knock Life tour with Jay-Z, with the Rough Riders and Cash Money Millionaires tour. If you haven't listened to him, he has a comedy album right now. If you guys don't want to buy it, like, just get some game for free. Right now, his comedy album, Who Raised You, right now is on Apple Music, on all streaming, everything on YouTube. Right now, he just released a new comedy album. It's called Gangsta Conversations. He has a single out right now that's Walking in the Rain, that's out on iTunes. You can listen to that on Apple Music as well. TK Kirkland, thank you for coming.
What's going on, family?
Good,
How you doing, bro?
Good, man. How you doing?
Good. It's good to see
Denver,
you.
Man?
I love Denver. I love places that, I could come to make money. But I want to give you a tip in your show.
Yeah.
I want you to slow down when you talk.
Yeah.
There's no rush.
Okay.
Enjoy the moment.
Yeah.
All right? And make
Oh,
sure
no, dude, because I'm so hyped, dude, because, like, the reason I only picked up these mics is to like talk to people that I'm a fan of, you know?
Right.
And this podcast gives me an excuse to sit down with them and talk to them, you know?
Yes.
And like sometimes when I meet people that I'm a real big fan, I get like, dude, this is
you gotta
unreal.
take control
of your
take control of your energy
Yeah.
and just roll with it so people can really understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
You know? All right, cool. So let's roll.
Yeah.
Everybody, listen. You know, when we started this podcast game a couple years ago with Charlamagne the God, Tax and all that kind of stuff, and it's been just a wave of people doing this type of stuff, and I'm just really proud that me and other people who have started this has inspired you guys to do this, but really learn the business, really know the business side of podcasting, so that you can make your money and get your advertising. But the goal is to get your numbers up so that you can have a huge following, and then the advertisers will come to you, or you can go to the advertisers and get paid, because the goal is to get paid.
Yeah, well, this, like, I'm just, like, this isn't, like, my job, you know what I mean?
Right.
I have a real job, like, I work on cars and shit, you know?
Okay, cool.
But this, like I told you, this is just to talk to people I'm a fan of, you know
That's
what I mean?
awesome.
I'm not in it for the money. You know what I mean? I can care less. This is like once in a lifetime opportunity. You know what I mean? To talk to people like this, to talk to people like Andrew Schultz, talk to artists that I'm a fan of. You know what I mean? I could just throw them this, and be like, hey, let's just sit down and talk or
That's
something.
awesome,
you know what I mean?
yo. I
Just
like
to bring
that.
game on to people that don't know about you guys. You know what I mean?
Right.
Your crowd should be twice as big as it was last night. You know what I'm
Right,
saying?
right.
So if I could just go out in public to people that aren't getting the ear, like our major publications out here, like our radio stations, they're not talking about the TK Kirkland's coming out. They're not talking about the Andrew Schultz coming out. You know what I mean? That's where I come in. I go downtown and be like, hey, I just got an interview with TK Kirkland. So next time you come out, they'll be like, oh, this guy was on this podcast. I heard about him and blah, 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 you know?
Okay.
So I'm not really in it for the money like that on the business side. But
Right.
regardless, man, it's just an honor because, like, you mentioned Tax, you know, like the first place I heard of you was on Taxstone's podcast, you know?
Right.
And you're one of the people that when I listened to on the podcast, I went to go research more because you were spitting so much game on that episode. It was unbelievable. Like, so many things from that episode stuck with me, you know?
Right.
And it's just crazy. Like, the reason a lot of your stuff stuck is because, like, I was born in LA, so when I got access to YouTube and all that, I like to listen to the West Coast music, you know. So of course I got into like Snoop Dogg, Nate Dogg, Warren G, like the whole G-Funk stuff, you know. And your game that you're spitting is like exactly the game that they were spitting, you know. Like,
right.
just like you're giving people like game on like anybody could get played. Just don't fall for that shit, you know what I mean? Everybody's out here trying to play something, you know what I mean?
Right.
And you're teaching like you're giving out the game 100%, you know. You're giving up the game for girls and guys, you know what I'm saying?
That's right.
And that's important, you know. So like on your comedy album, you spoke about it, like how girls, like they're starting to like play guys now, you know what I mean? They're starting to think they're slick and shit, you know what I mean? It's always been like that though, right?
It's always
It's
been
just,
like that.
but you think it's gotten worse, man? Because like nowadays, like girls are really trying to run game on like a lot of guys.
There's more of them now.
Yeah.
There's more of them that are aware. They know that men are attracted to them. But what I try to do in my show is to make sure that women bring more to the table before they get old. Girls are beautiful, and they get snatched up by a certain guy who might just be interested in you for 2 years, 5 years, maybe a week. Well, you have to look down the future. You got to think about 15, 20 years from now, just in case this man is not with you. You don't want to be stuck with 2 kids. You don't want to be stuck looking for a place to live, looking for your parents to help you out, and all these kind of stuff. You don't want to do that. So my philosophy is to protect you, in a sense, is to make sure I can guide you the right way to prevent the BS men and women will go through if they don't listen to me. Yeah, that's what I try to do.
And that's full game, like with your like Who Raised You comedy album and
Right.
this one too. You touch on a lot of the same topics because you really want it to stick. You know, you always say like, if anything happens, at least you could say, at least I heard it.
That's
you know?
right.
And that's one of your.
That's
sayings,
right.
You know?
Yep.
And like everything you're spitting, I even preach to my friends like about the things you're saying. You know what I mean? And they're like, they kind of rub it off, but then when shit happens, they're like, oh, didn't you say that? And,
Right.
And like that's what I'm saying. Like with this, to get your name out more, like you're huge, TK. Podcast, everything. You know what I mean? But there's a lot of people out here when I'm like, hey, TK Kirkland's here, they're like, what? And it's not good, you know what I mean?
Well, it's not that. Sometimes you got to know, sometimes in life, at least in my life, you have to wait till the stars line up. I'm an organic kind of guy. Yeah. And as you go through journeys in life, you understand that what you're here for, and then God will bless you a certain type of way, right? So I put a lot of people on, from Sandra Bullock to Jamie Foxx to D.L. Hughley, and I planted my seeds around the world. Yeah. Now, in return for that, I'm getting a lot of blessings that are phenomenal. Some that I can't speak on right now, but a year from now, you'll see about it. You're like, whoa, that's what he was talking about. Major. So it's not that they don't really know me here in Denver. They didn't really promote me in Denver the way I should have been. And that's fine, because I make still more in one day than most people make during the whole weekend because of the way I structure my deal. So it's not about that. It's about me coming. We got the relationship. I'm going to Cleveland tomorrow. I'm quite sure all 6 shows are sold out. So that's just the way this business is, and I'm all over the world.
Yeah.
And when you do off days on Wednesdays, it's kind of hard because people work.
Yeah.
People got things to do, and it's hard to get out on a Wednesday, especially if they have family and kids and no one to babysit. So it is what it is, you know? Yeah.
And like first, I want to say like congrats on the podcast. You know what I mean? Because it's one thing like getting on the mic and dropping knowledge and giving up game, you know, and giving a lot of people advice. But it's another thing to be like stepping up and doing something about it. You know what I mean?
Right.
Your connections to help out people. You know what I mean? So like first, I just want to send a shout out to True God in Atlanta, Maurice of GOF, Daniel's Leather, Troy and Saints and Symphony, and everyone else helping that guy out. You know what I mean?
Right.
Okay, like if you guys don't know about the podcast.
And tell them about the episode that you're talking about.
So this new episode of the TK Kirkland Show, TK reveals like, well, he linked up with the guy named True God in Atlanta a couple months back, like a couple weeks ago, or
a couple months ago.
Yeah, a couple months ago. He was like going through a lot of stuff, you know. He was like living out of porta potties and all this shit, you know what I mean, homeless stuff, you know. And he reached out to TK just on like to see if he could help him out, and TK sent him clothes, keep him warm, set him up with a cell phone to keep in contact with him and like see how he's doing, send him up with like clothing companies and see what he could do. Man, just now TK linked him up with a guy that's actually helping out people that like get bail,
low bail bonds,
you know,
bail him out of jail.
They're giving this guy, they're giving True God a place to live right now. They're hooking him up with some suits so he can go to meetings. And TK he put all the pieces of the puzzle together and just helped this guy out completely. You know what I mean? And I'm glad all you guys on the phone were speaking to him like serious, like don't fuck this up.
Right.
Like I remember Maurice was like, I could be giving this to a kid right now, and I'm giving it to you. You know what I mean? So that puts your name on the line too, and that takes a lot. You know what I mean?
Right, it does.
If it goes dirty, you may lose that connect. You may lose this relationship. You know what I mean? So that's awesome that you're actually putting in your helping hands on.
Right,
you know
right.
what I'm saying? So I just want to say like congrats on that.
Yeah, I love helping people out as much as I can. Yeah. I'm a very busy guy. You know, I still have a list of people waiting for me to talk to. But what I try to do is I try to live my life as well and try to balance it out so that way I'm not depressed or overwhelmed. Because sometimes it could take a toll on me, especially when people are doing stupid shit, and it bothers me. So when I do an interview and it's stupid, I don't want to do an interview probably like 2 weeks. And sometimes I'll do 10 weeks in 1 week. Yeah. I'll do 2 shows a day and won't have to do it for 2 or 3 months, you know? So that's what I do. So I just try to help people, try to continue grinding and continue working because it keeps me youthful, this job. It keeps me meeting people like yourself. It keeps me inspiring people. And that's what I want to do and make people laugh at the same time because to get a standing ovation last night was just awesome. I enjoyed that, you know, so it was pretty good.
You had fans of the podcast, fans like that already knew you.
Right, and I thought that was awesome. Yeah.
Because like when you're like, must have not been at my show before, and everybody's like, yeah.
Right, yeah. See, so people knew. People like, yeah, they don't talk at my shit, yo. I'm going to get in your ass.
Yeah. And,
so,
you're helping me out too, man. Just doing this interview, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
I just reached out and you said let's do it.
Yeah,
Like this, like again, you know what I mean. This is just to like talk to people I'm a fan of, you know.
And to the fans, I'm eating a little calamari with some water to keep my strength up. You know, I'm just trying to live the best life I can. That's all.
And then like I'm telling you, like I've been listening to you for a couple of years, you know what I mean, since Taxstones and shit, you know, and like throughout that you've been giving out so much game, you know what I mean, like, a huge game that stuck to me that I took into my own personal life, you know what I mean, and like just some of it was like if I'm missing any, just let me know, you know what I mean, like the first thing like giving girl flowers, you know what I mean,
right?
That I used to just do like for girlfriends and stuff, maybe Valentine's or whatever, you know, but like. Now when I'm like gonna first meet a lady, you know, I may bring her flowers on the first date, you know, and like that really gets into them, you know. What I mean?
Yeah, brother.
Some of them are probably listening right now, so I can say it freely. Like, at first they're like, "Yo, no one's ever gave me flowers." I'm like, "Yo, TK said that they were gonna say that because they don't expect that."
Right.
People,
that's a beautiful. When you do that, bro, a woman will remember you for the rest of your life, and that's important. That I take men back to being gentlemen. Open the door now. Don't get me wrong. I want y'all to be gentlemen, but I don't want you to be suckers. It's a difference. You got to know when you're being played. because some women are so beautiful and the way they make you feel could just hypnotize your ass, and you'll be fucked up. So you gotta stay strong. You gotta be like, I'm a man, and I learned the game from TK, and he said in certain situations like this is how you gotta act. When the pussy's good, you just gotta stay strong. When a woman is good to you, you just gotta be respectful and be a gentleman. If you met a woman, you didn't expect for it to be real, because you was dating some other women, she just swooped past everybody. She started at maybe number 9. Let's just use that number. But her game, the way she moved, one week then she moved up to number 7. Then one week she number 3. Then another week she number 1. You like, I can't fuck with no other woman because this female's so cold that these other people don't hold a candle to her. So you got to know when to do that and when not to do that.
Yeah, and like bringing up girls like playing and shit, like I try to preach your game to like a lot of people that I see, like in my personal life, like I know, like some fools that I know, they're taking care of another man's kid. What I mean? And like, I know this one guy, like he used to work with me. He was like, "Hey, me and my girl been off and on for 10 years, and in between that time that they were on and off, she had a 2-year-old. She had a 2-year-old, and I was saying, I'm like, what do you think about the type of like?
It's based on who you are. And what I mean by that is some men want to go back to old thing. I was always taught, so many women in the world, why recycle? Yeah. Why go back to something that it's like picking up the same book every time and you get the same ending. Yeah. Once you read a book, you don't want to read it again, unless it's really, really good. And sometimes you go back. I don't believe in that. I believe that you explore the world and you continue to live a great, fabulous life. Just like I believe that when you leave this earth, you should not die where you was born, because that means to me you haven't traveled, you haven't done anything, you didn't find nothing else that was so beautiful to make you leave where you was born. And if you haven't really left where you was born at, that's just my opinion. I don't think you lived.
So that's something you always preach. Travel, go see places, just travel.
You gotta travel. What I mean? That's so important.
What's your favorite place? Turks and Caicos?
I always say Turks and Caicos because the name just sounds so wonderful when it comes out my mouth.
What's the most recent spot you hit up?
I'm a little bit of everywhere. Italy. I gotta go to London. I gotta go to Japan.
You've been to London before? Yeah,
I've been to London. And what I try to do, being an ex-player, I used to take women with me. And then I realized that none of them women stayed in my life. So I stopped this years ago. So I make sure to take my daughters with me as much as I can to give them memories, instead of somebody who I'm going to spend money on, just have sex with you. And sometimes you might even get pregnant. You never know. So my point is, I'd rather just have my children with me so that we can take the journey together. And then one day they can always say, oh, yeah, my dad took me here, or my dad did this,
You don't really do the state to state, just like country to country?
Yeah, I do. We go everywhere. Yeah. In the country, we go out of the country. We do it all with my babies.
Okay, that's cool. Oh, yeah. And then, like, another one of the things, like, that really stuck to me all the time, like, the one, and this is like a newer quote. You said it on the Who Raised You. You're like,
okay.
Whenever your pussy, it's just your turn.
Right.
Are you still about that?
I'm still about that. That's always gonna be the rule for the rest of your life, because
at the show too. And
because men that think about that's my girl or whatever. Some girls are in love with you, but I'm trying to prevent men from killing somebody. That's what that statement is about. Not getting caught up to kill somebody. To understand that if you got played, you got played. Don't beat the girl up. Don't beat the nigga up. Don't go to prison. Don't go to prison. And you can't be a hypocrite, which most men are. Most men are hypocrites.
That's some like simp shit though. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I don't see that a lot. Like growing up over here. You know what I mean? Like,
well, emotions is a powerful thing.
Maybe getting cheated on. Maybe you see that more common than just getting played, you know what I'm saying? Some guys do petty shit.
Emotions is powerful. Emotions is, you think that you're strong until it actually happens. And then you test it. And then you're like, whoa. So if you can put out good energy into the world, 9 out of 10 you're going to get it back. What I mean by that is, if you can meet a good girl and treat her good, hopefully you'll get it back. And then sometimes you give a woman good energy, and she still might cheat on you. She still might fuck. That's just her nature at that time, or vice versa.
And that's just old school game always.
It's just life. It's called the game of life, yo.
That's how it goes.
Yeah, you just gotta hope that it goes right, and then you could date somebody 20, 30 years, love each other, and one day one of them could wake up and say, I don't want to be with you no more. I seen women be with men who were so rich, yo, and then as they get older, they got erectile dysfunction. They got things wrong with them, and the girl is still maybe in her late 40s and still want to live life, and she's not attracted to the man anymore. And he's thinking about, whoa, I took care of your mom. I did this for your family. I did this and that, and you want to do this to me? I know a guy like that, yo. And it's killing him. It's killing him. So you really got to understand life, and if you understand life, won't nothing surprise. Just like all the way down to insurance and burial insurance, life insurance. You know, that's why I tell people when you're young, 17, 18, start stacking, get a job, start stacking your money and saving, because one day you want to date. One day you want to take trips. So just like you want to buy a house one day, just like you want to buy a car one day, you want to save money to take trips and to have a decent girlfriend, but don't let her take you for all your money.
Yeah, never. That's what my boss always tells me, like, don't ever get married because they'll take you for half your shit. I mean, you could just be in a relationship and not get married.
Right.
You know
well, you can get married if the girl just got as much as you.
Yeah. That always helps.
Because 9 times out of 10, it doesn't work out that way. So you want to marry someone that make your home. See, a child can't take care of a home. A 22-year-old girl, 25, I would never put a woman in a position like that to cook, to make sure the curtains clean, to wash clothes, to do that. That's like torture for a 20-something-year-old. You know, you want her to party, have a good time.
That's what you give game on too, you know.
Don't
hold your shit.
Go explore. The definition of settling down is you done everything. You had a good time doing your thing. 20, 30 years old. Girls think they got to have a baby in their 20s. You don't have to do that.
But nowadays, they want to do like the whole family thing just for like exception from the public. You know what I mean? They want to do the cute family photos, and that's the only reason they're getting the kid. You know what I mean?
That's
like
dumb.
The social media shit's kind of fucking it up a lot.
Yeah, get your job, stack your money, and everything will come to you. How old are you now?
I'm 22.
Oh yeah, you're a baby, yo. You better not have no children until at least 35.
Yeah, that's what I always say. Yeah, well, since I've been listening to you, man,
Yeah.
I changed up my whole game.
Good, 35, yo.
You're like, you shouldn't be fucking unless you got 25 stacks. You shouldn't like move in with nobody unless you got money like coming in solidly. You know what I'm saying? Like, everything, like even the backup plans that you give up, you're like. I remember on Taxstone's podcast, he said that when you take a lady out to the theater, you pay for the ticket, you say, can I get a senior citizen and a student? And I'm like, that's funny. That's some player shit. That's like the backup plan. You know? Right. In case it don't work out, that's my plan.
Because I really wanted to be a sugar daddy.
Yeah.
I'm keeping it real. I like taking care of bitches. Yeah. You know, so I wanted to be that nigga. Like Sean Connery with the little gray.
Yeah.
Pushing a nice ride. But I didn't want to be the dude with the big wallet in the back with a lot of keys.
Oh, shit.
I just want to be smooth. Yeah. You know, I fly in, go put a girl in a nice home. She living good, you know. I'm laying there, we fucking, all kind of shit. We having tea. We on the balcony looking over some beautiful Mediterranean. And then boom, I'm gone. But you straight. I know that you are provided for. You're good. You living a great life. Oh, that's how I want to live.
Because I'm just repeating this game for like people that don't know. You know
right.
what I mean? So when I give this interview to them, they'll know. You know what I mean? I always say like, if you're gonna mess with a girl, like the least you can do is teach them something.
That's right.
Give them game while you're with them. You know what I mean? Give them like bits and tricks that they can use for the next guy. You
right.
Yep. Even if your goals with them aren't exactly like just to stay with them. Just give them something they could take along for the road.
Right. That's true.
And that's what like you always preach, you know. And I just want them to like hear it from you. You know what I mean? You always want to give them game.
You want to give because anybody can fuck you, but can you fuck? Can a woman have to say, "Can you fuck me and teach me?" That's how it should go, and vice versa. You got women that can fuck a man and teach him. That's what I'm saying. You give a woman game. it doesn't work out. She meets another guy that got his stuff together, but he's lacking certain things. Then she can teach him.
Okay. And then with the album, you touched on like a lot of the same, like, I'm not gonna say the same, but like the topics were relatable. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You were talking about like, you of course giving game about women and men, like what they do, being like what they think they're slick with, and what they're not gonna be getting away with in the long run. And you brought up a new topic on this one, like the sexual harassment shit. You know what I mean? Nowadays, you know. And that was something you haven't touched on, you know, like on this new album, you put in a couple subjects that you haven't touched on before,
right?
And that was one of them. You think that shit's getting like like you mentioned Kevin Hart in like in your sets and in the album, you know what I mean? How the girl that he was messing with sense of weakness, so that's why she tried to play him. What would you recommend for?
Well, for the record too, I thought the girl did try to play him, but his wife didn't know, but his best friend is the one that set him up, right?
Yeah.
To get the money. Me and Kevin is real tight. When Kevin got married to Tori, the first girl, I told him, we was right on Sunset Boulevard, and I said to him, like, yo, why did you get married? I was trying to, like, yo, that didn't make no damn sense. So we had a long talk, because I didn't know who Kevin Hart was. I just remember being at the premiere of Soul Plane, and all of a sudden he was the star of this movie, which I thought was fucking horrible, by the way. He does too. It led to where we are now, and do I think he learned his lesson about cheating? Probably not, because I think when you're a cheater, you're a cheater. It's just that you become better as a cheater, and you got to know who to cheat on. And I forgot the question.
Oh, well, like I was talking about like how you give on, like how the sexual harassment topic was a new one for you.
Yeah, the sexual harassment. The reason I talked about it because it really got out of hand. And I felt bad that people was going back 35 years. We all were somebody different 35 years ago. And to want to throw somebody under the bus down that he got his life together, maybe that situation made him a better man. And what I'm trying to say to ladies is that if a man ever tries to take something away from you, don't wait 35 years. Go to the police that same day. Not tomorrow, not next week. The same day. And that's all I'm saying. That's all.
And there's like a lot of like, of course, like the backlash, like, oh, you can't like victim shame and all that bullshit, you know what I mean? Like people really go hard on that, you know, but like they don't see it from that standpoint, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's important.
Everybody was different back then, you know what I mean? And no one holds that up to account, you know what I mean?
Right. You know, and I think about Bill Cosby, like, you know, I mean, think about it. It's the fourth quarter of his life. He's been successful his whole life. And to go out these last 5-10 years of your life in jail is horrible, man. Yeah. It's horrible.
Can't move, can't see, can't do shit. Can't fend for yourself.
Yeah, he ain't doing Fed time. He doing state time. It's harder. The food is worse. I'm quite sure he's going to lose a lot of weight. And if he does eat that food, I know his expensive takes his whole life. Bad move.
Yeah, man. Same thing with like Suge, you know what I mean? Like Suge, how he's locked up. Like I'm going back to Taxstone's podcast because I'm telling you, man, that interview I've listened to endless times because there's so much game, and you're talking about like how Suge, he was on the top. You know what I mean? How you said how when you live a certain life, when you drive certain cars, when you meet certain kind of women, and then be locked up for that for like a third of your life or something, that really fucks with you.
Oh yeah, brother. It got to. There's no way around. It's like psychologically, it could damage you. Yeah. You know, psychologically, it could damage you. And I really felt sorry for him, but at the same time, he always come up winning because he could have been dead.
All the best, yeah.
Yeah, sure could have been dead. So he still got some angel looking out for him because he could have been locked the fuck up.
Yeah. Are you still tight with a lot of like NWA and stuff?
Oh yeah. We see each other, we say hello and all that.
Like that one music video you were in, you were just in the background like this, dude.
The DLC.
I was like, damn, yo, TK look young as shit.
Yeah, the DLC. Oh, that was some good times, y'all.
Because this guy, yo, he came from with like NWA. With Jay-Z at the Hard Knock Live tour, he was with DMX, with the Rough Riders, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you were just opening for them. So, like, why don't they do that now? Like, at, like, big rap shows, why don't they bring
I think the world is different. The comedy is different, you know.
Because you were spitting game back then.
Yeah, but you really had to be a bad dude to open up for them groups.
Yeah.
You couldn't be just a regular comic.
Yeah.
You really had to have something special to go on that stage. And it wasn't like these small crowds they doing.
Yeah.
I was rocking 18,000 seaters.
Yeah.
It was insane. It was just an awesome time. I liked
Were
it.
you one of the only ones to do that? Like a comedian on a rap tour?
Well,
Because I haven't heard of nothing like that, man. Or since.
it was a story. There's a comedian named Alex Thomas. Alex Thomas is a great comic, and what he did was he did part of the Hard Knock Life tour.
Okay.
So he was able to do it just a little bit. But what happened, I had just got out of jail. Dr. Drainer was going to fire him for me to get back on the tour.
Oh, shit.
But Alex is a mentor. I mentor Alex.
Yeah.
So I told him, no, don't worry about it, because we was all up in Detroit, and he had saw me, and he didn't know I was there to take his job. And I said, no, that's my man, we straight. So right after that, I got the Cash Money tour.
Yeah.
Right after that, so I went on tour with Cash Money and other kind of stuff, and it was just a good time. So Alex started doing a little bit of that, but not on a consistent basis the way I did. I went on everybody's tour in the 90s. I had it on lock.
Yeah. And then, like, just to touch back, because, like, because Tax was my favorite podcast. Man. It was like...
Yeah, he was good. We
the
could
one guy
be
that
safe,
was,
though.
like, yeah, man, that was the one thing. The one podcast that, I was like, man, yo, this guy just came out of nowhere and just started talking shit to everybody, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
How was Tax? Like, have you talked to him at all?
I haven't talked to him in a while. Matter of fact, I just got some information on him this week. I got to send him some stuff. But Tax is my man, and we didn't really get to be great friends. We was on our way to be really close, and I wish I'd listened to his show a lot more and understood him a lot more, because I know for a fact I could have prevented him getting in that situation with that guy, so God don't make no mistakes. So it is what it is, and we'll see where it goes from there.
Yeah. And with TK, so I know, like, sometime, like, last year or something like that, like, maybe a couple, like, 8 months ago, you mentioned about a Netflix special. Whatever happened to that?
Well, the Netflix special is coming.
Okay.
What happened in my business is, as people get wind of your business, people want to sign you. So I have a huge deal on the table with a huge company that wants to sign my company and then take my thing and promote it. So it's going to come out next year, and you're the first person I know about it, but I can't say what it is yet because I don't want to jinx it. But just let everybody know you was the first one to hear first. So the album was the special came out, but I had to wait because when I release it, it's over. That's all I'm saying.
It's done.
Oh, it's gonna be insane.
Another Vlad interview coming after.
I just did Vlad. And we had Vlad like 2 weeks ago.
Oh yeah. Oh,
yeah.
a newer one.
A new one.
Okay. Because the last one you did, man, you showed up looking like a fucking director with your fucking.
Oh yeah. I had another one after that.
That shit was crazy, man.
Yeah, it was good.
Oh yeah, man. And you're still doing runs and everything. With the album, everything looking good with the album, everything's...
The album went number one on iTunes. It's going to debut on Billboard next week. So I'm excited about that. I know I'm going to be in the top 5 for sure. So we'll see what happens with that.
And that song on there, Walking in the Rain, was cold. Like, you have two versions of... He has two versions of it on the album. And it's just cold, man. And, like, one thing on the song that I was questioning about at the end, you were like sweating the girl, and then you said if they pick this up in Vegas, I could lose my license. I'm like, you have like a player license out there or something?
Well, no, it's just a term. It's a street term, I'm saying license and all that kind of stuff. Didn't really mean anything. It was just a metaphor, so to speak.
Because I'm like, damn, TK's probably into like some cold ass shit.
Yeah, it was just crazy.
The pimp game out there or some shit.
That was a great song.
Yeah, man, both versions. Like you were spinning different shit on both. And your dude, I was like, damn, TK's kind of flowing right now. Like, that shit was cold. Did you ever like get into like the music shit? Did you ever try?
Yeah, I wrote music with everybody from Timbaland to AMG to Second and None, and it's just been a real good look.
Oh, just writing though. You never tried to like.
No, I'm not gonna rap.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I ain't gonna do that. Yeah. Where I'm at in my life now, I just want to direct. I'm gonna do 3 movies. Coming out in the next 10 years. Because I am a planner. So I plan stuff. So I'm going to do 3 movies. Once I do the 3 movies, I do the type of specials I want. I do the type of books that I want. and then I'm done. I'm gonna retire. So I figured 20 years, I'll have everything done. 20 years, and I'm gonna retire. That's on my list.
Oh yeah. And then, all right, yo. So I want to thank TK Kirkland fucking with us here at Dear Denver Podcast, man. He didn't have to do this at all, bro. He just came through. I asked him for an interview. Like I told you guys, only reason I'm doing this podcast is to talk to guys like him, talk to guys like Andrew. I ain't like you mentioned like the business shit. You know what I mean? It's never been about that for me. Just to like sit down with you and try to give some game to people. Like hear it from you. You know what I mean? Because experience speaks more than anything. You know what I mean? So like, just thank you, man, for coming through, giving me this opportunity. And make sure you guys go check out Gangsta Conversations. That's on iTunes,
right?
Not Apple Music. You guys gotta go on iTunes.
And the reason why I did that from a business perspective, a lot of people thought it should be streamed.
Yeah.
But comedy is different than music. Yeah. When you stream music, people play it over and over. That's not the fact with comedy. Comedy, you listen to pretty much one time, and that's pretty much done, right? So what I did was I didn't stream it yet because I had to get all my money. Yeah. I'm a businessman. So I own my own label. So the more people buy it, the more money goes in my pocket because streaming is kind of free. And here's the numbers. In the comedy world, to get one album sale, you have to get 1,500 downloads for one album. 15 streams. 1,500 streams. 1,500 for equivalent to one album.
Oh, so they broke it down for you.
Yeah, so in no way I'm doing that.
Because a lot of like the podcasts that I listen to, like Joe Budden and all that shit, they always talk about that. Like they put their 2 cents in the music industry, and no one ever has a solid number on like how many streams is one album. So it's 1,500. Like
it's 1,500.
1,500.
Now it's different with music.
Yeah.
Talk about for a comedy album.
Oh, okay.
Right. A comedy album you got to sell 1,500 comedy albums, streams rather, to equivalent to one album.
Oh shit! So that's some rough shit. Man.
And my deal is so cold. I make a lot of money. I get 80% on my deal. So let me hit 500,000. It's over, bro.
You're buying Netflix.
Let me get 500,000. It's over, and I think I'm gonna be able to do it one day.
Yeah.
In 20 years, I think I'm gonna be able to sell one of them albums. I'm gonna drop. It's gonna sell a lot. I don't know which one, but one of them gonna sell.
Oh yeah, but this game is endless, man. This game will always live on. Like the game that you're spitting, bro. Like,
right.
People gotta take out their pens and notepads.
And the thing about me too is, I'm doing this also for 200 years from now, 20 years from now, because when I leave this earth, people gonna really respect what I really was to the world. Yeah. And it's going to be a whole nother level. And I want to leave just so much game everywhere that when people do their research and they're like, whoa,
oh yeah, dude,
oh my God. Yeah. And that's what I want to do.
Each interview you give out, man, like every time you get an interview out, I like have to pay attention. You know what I mean? They slide some shit in there that like the interviewers may overlook.
Right.
But there's deep shit in
there. Right.
You know what I mean? Like how I was mentioning, well, I'll get fucking again. You know, Taxstone was full of game. You know what I mean? When you brought him onto your podcast, you're like, what, your third or
my second interview?
Yeah, second interview. That was so much game too, you know.
Right.
What I mean? And like just when you were like with Vlad, you're always giving up game on modern shit. You know
right.
What I mean? So like, even on this album, you were still giving modern game. You know, what I mean? Shit that relates to today.
Right.
And even like comparing it to the last album, it shows that shit's still going on.
Right.
But it's just in different forms.
You know? And Who Raised You was just so solid.
Too solid.
Who Raised You was just the ultimate comedy album that was just awesome. Gangsta Conversation, I wanted to slow it down a little bit so you can I really want to get in your gut type feeling. And then the next album's coming out is going to be something totally different. It drops in October of next year, and that's called T to the mother-fucking K.
Oh, yeah, I remember.
Yeah, that's what we call that album. And that album is going to have a whole different type of twist that people are not going to expect, and I'm excited about that.
One question about the album that I had was that all of it on there was from Atlanta, right?
Yeah, everything was from Atlanta. Yeah, Okay. I did like 3 shows.
Oh, okay.
So we put it all together, the best of the 3.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I haven't picked what location I'm going to do this year, but I'm not doing Atlanta no more.
Oh,
it's going to be a different city.
Different city?
Yeah.
Okay. Why? So like they could hear different reaction?
Well, every crowd is different.
Okay.
Every crowd is different.
Yeah,
and
'cause you work with the crowds.
Yeah.
A lot, you know.
Every crowd is different, and the audience can really make or break your show. It's like being in a football game, and you got the home field advantage, and you can win the game. So when you have a great audience, your blood gets pumping, and your mind, all your jokes start coming to you, and you just go to a whole nother level compared to if you get a dud show. It can happen. Your jokes don't come out as fast. You know, you're thinking about, damn, I'm bombing. I'm thinking about, oh, I'm depressed. I'm thinking about, you know, you think about, oh, I'm not gonna do this no more. You know, but I've been blessed in this business. I've been consistent my whole life, and I'm excited, and it is what it is. And I want to thank you. I wish you the best, my man. I hope whatever this takes you, it takes you to wherever it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Even though you're not really taking it seriously, I hope that it takes you and if it's fulfilling for you.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm
serious, as in like trying to talk to these people. You know what I mean? But I'm not trying to like. I'm working towards so I could like be a millionaire, get on TV or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I just want to talk to people. You know, I like meeting people that I'm a fan of. You know what I'm saying? That's all I'm really getting into.
And to the fans out here, you can follow me on Instagram at TK_Kirkland. If you have any problems, you know, you can hit me on my DM. Tell me about it, from money to relationships to baby mama drama to having problems with your boyfriend or your husband, to doing threesomes, to how to give your man head, how to eat pussy, how to do all that. I talk about it all.
And
just
if you need to get that game right away, make sure to check out Gangsta Conversations, iTunes, and then if you guys just got Apple Music, make sure you check out Who Raised You.
Right. And if you can't get the album, go on my website at the official TKKirkland.com. There's a link there. Bam, you can hit it, and the rest is history.
Hell yeah. All right. T to the motherfucking K.
Wish you the best, family.
Thank you, bro.
God bless.
Later.
Peace.
Alana, what's up, girl? Hey, come take this ride with me. Yeah, shut the door, shut the door. What's up, baby? How you been? You still looking good? Holding everything in place like you should? Yeah, you fine. Straight down the whole nine with those stars and those pretty brown eyes. So what's the deal? You the one always...